paper and pencil ready?
Yeah.
These are fabulous, fabulous summer reads. There were a couple that I left back in the library because they're going to be coming and we're going to be talking about them next fall, and those are going to be super special reads for everyone, including your family to get. So I'm going to just start by different genres, and then I'm going to do a very quick ones of my super favorites, and I'll pull those up at the end. I would love for you to jot down at least maybe 3 or 4 that are your super favorites, because you can go to the Georgetown or the Granville Library and check these out this summer. You can also come to our school library. We're going to have open checkout this summer. So 1 day a week we're going to have open checkout at every elementary school this summer, so you can even come and get these. So either way, you have libraries open for you, all different places in our community, okay? So first we're going to start off with these are mystery books, okay? How many of you have ever heard of the Spy School series? This is by Stuart Gibb. It's a brand new series that's just come out. There's tons of them that go along with it, and it's packed with adventure, and kids are eating this one up. But he's a very prolific author, because he's also writing, it's called Fun Jungle series, and Pandemonium is one of those series. Big Game is the first one in the series, but if you love animals and you want to help solve a crime, you might want to go with Teddy Fitzroy is the main character in this series, and he does a great job as a detective, because they're shipping this rare panda to the zoo, and when it gets there, there is no panda in the case. So the FBI is on the case and everything, but Teddy has an inside track to what might have really happened. So these are both great adventure stories and mysteries. I'll take questions when we're all done, okay? So here's a couple other ones. This is a brand new series. It's called the Devin Quick series, Investigators. And this is a girl, main character, Devin. And she has found out that a very rare book at the New York Public Library, a page out of it has been taken, so she's on track to figure out who that is. So if you love mysteries, you might want to grab, these are 2 new ones that are mysteries for you. And then this is one of my favorite, all-time favorite series for mysteries. This one is called Chasing Vermeer, and it is a fabulous story of an art piece that's gone missing. And some kids actually do all kinds of these weird events have been happening, and they're trying to figure it out. And if you love math and you like thinking more technically with your mind, you're going to love this. It's a series of 3 or 4 books now, so you can grab those and take a look at them too. Okay, brand new book that's just come out, and this is by Holly Sloan, and she is an amazing author. This is a realistic fiction book. So it's a story of a girl and her brother. Mom and Dad have to work during the summer. Her friends have gone away, and guess what? Her mom signs her up for like a theater camp with her little brother. And so she's thinking, oh, holy cow, this is going to be a terrible summer. Well, ends up they're doing a play, The Wizard of Oz, and guess who gets to be one of the Munchkins and one of the Flying Monkeys. So you can imagine all the things that are going to be happening. It's a fabulous book, but what I love the most about this is the writing. The author paints fabulous pictures of what's happening in the character's mind. So if you'd love to have a fun, realistic fiction, you could grab Short right here, okay? Let me show some of my favorite. These are historical fiction books. This one is called Stella by Moonlight. And what often I do with like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, you guys are at the end of 4th grade, so you're really close to 5th graders. This one is a little more high in content. It's about the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, and the impact that they had on her life down in the South, and it was set in like the 1960s. So you might want to take a look at this. It's sort of very realistic. It's what their community had to go through and what they suffered through. It's an amazing story, and I think you'll love reading it. This one, it is by Cynthia DeFleece. It's called Weasel. I love this story. It's an older title, but it was one of those books that and you can see it's not very big. Weasel, I grabbed this, I read it in one night because I was so I couldn't put it down. What happens in Weasel is he and his little sister, I forgot the main character's first name, but he and his sister have a strange visitor. Their dad's gone, he doesn't come home, their mom has passed away, so it's just him and his sister and Dad. Dad goes out, doesn't come home in the morning. They wonder where he's at, and there's a knock at the door, and the man that's at the door cannot talk. This is set back in the 1800s when we're first settling out west. So he tells them, he motions for them to come. They go to where they see their dad being, he's roped up, he's being basically just tied up. He's a prisoner of a man called Weasel, who is notoriously, has tortured Native Americans out in their wilderness. So they're afraid for their father's life. And it all comes down to he's got to save his dad. So it comes down to a very intense scene at the very end of the book. It's an amazing author, and if you like historical fiction, you want to pick that up. Also, Elijah of Buxton is an amazing author. It's Christopher Paul Curtis. Have you read this book? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's about the Underground Railroad, but what happens in this story is he lives up in Canada. He was born a free slave, but all the while people are coming from the south and they're migrating and running away and going toward Canada to try to be free. What happens is he, because he's only like 12 years old, he can smuggle himself down into Michigan to try to help these slaves get across into Canada to become free citizens. But when he's down there, something horrific happens. And it's a very intense scene. I do not let teachers read this aloud to your classrooms because the scene is sort of really intense. And if you don't like those kind of scenes, don't grab this, but it's a wonderful story and it's a realistic depiction of what happened in Underground Railroad, okay? Now I'm going to talk about fantasy. So if you love fantasy books, listen quickly. How many of you have ever read Harry Potter? You read Harry Potter? Many of you have read Harry Potter. So you're like, okay, Mrs. Staley, Harry Potter, I'm all over that. Well, if you like Harry Potter and you want something a little more dark, a little more sinister, you might want to grab the Bartimaeus trilogy. This is book 1 of the Bartimaeus trilogy, and it's called The Amulet of Samarkand. Now, what this is about is the main character, he's got wizard powers, he's got the magic, he's going to school to get trained and all of that, but he's super, super confident, he thinks he's all that, and what he does is, even though he's like your age, he summons up this gigantic genie that is hugely powerful. And because he does that, he doesn't have the ability to control this genie. So now this genie is just going crazy and it's just destroying things, and the power of the genie cannot be taken back. So, and this character in this book, the main character in the book, does not have a really good heart. He wants all his own powers and he wants to take things in his own hands. So it's sort of a little darker Harry Potter, but really, really good. There's 3 of them in the series. If you like scary books, and I love Avi, anything by Avi is amazing, but this is called The Seer of Shadows. This is probably the scariest book that we have in the library. If you are a little bit worried about ghosts, I would not read this book, because when I read this book, I started looking around corners and thinking, maybe there's a ghost around.
I already think that.
Yeah, and the mom in the story is not a very nice lady, and something happens to a family member, and they show up, sort of trying to get some revenge, okay? So it's a little scary, it's a little darker story, and it's by Avi, and anything you pick up by Avi you'll love. So if you're just looking for a fabulous author, you could grab any. It's called The Seer of Shadows. Anything also by Han, H-A-H-N, is also, she writes tons of scary books, so you can also write down hers. This is another creepy story. This one I actually had to put down at night and couldn't read it because I started getting wigged out, because the night gardener in this story is, he haunts the family at night, and they're trying to settle this house, and they think that they can take care of all the things that are happening odd, and other people have just moved away from the community, but they are determined to stay put and make this house their home. But there is a night gardener, there's a special tree that's in this area, and if you like scary books, you might want to grab this. This is more fantasy though, okay?
And it's called Night Gardener.
Night Gardener, Night Gardener. you don't know if he's a ghost or not. I can't give you much more information about the gardener, but grab the book, you'll love it. These are a couple of my just favorite series. This one is called The Sisters Grimm. So if you like folk tales, fairy tales, you might want to grab this. And then also Land of Stories, two really, really fabulous fantasy series. They're, this one's a little older, this one's a brand new series, but if you want to get into some great series, grab those. Circus Mirandus is a fabulous, it almost seems like a realistic story, but at the very end, there is a circus that the main character is trying to find because his grandfather is getting ready to pass away, and his grandfather has always been talking about this magical circus, and everybody thinks that grandpa's a little crazy, but at the end of it, he goes and tries to find that magical circus for his grandpa, and he learns a lot of cool stuff along the way. This is one of those books that you will treasure and love. Your whole family might want to read this one, okay? It's called Circus Mirandus. Circus Mirandus. Okay, just real quick, I grabbed some science fiction books that I thought you guys might like. How many of you have ever read the Missing series? Okay, this is book 1. This is a little older series, but it's still fabulous science fiction series. It's about a plane that lands. So imagine a plane landing in Grand Rapids. It's a huge plane. There is no one on board except 36 babies. There's no crew, no pilot, no stewardess, nothing. It just magically ends up, and everybody wants to keep it hush-hush. So what the authorities do is they take those 36 babies and they adopt them out to families around the community, and nobody knows about it. 13 years later, all of those kids are getting cards in the mail that say, "We're coming for you." So you start piecing it all together to figure out what is the connection with all these kids, what's going on, and like I said, it's a series and it's science fiction, so something's happening, either time travel or something in space or some aliens or robots. Another fabulous book, this would be a little heavy. If you're a strong reader, you might want to grab this one. This is about cloning. It's amazing. It's called The House of the Scorpion. So you might want to grab that. This one, Things Not Seen by Andrew Clements. You can grab anything by Clements and it will be a fabulous read. This one, what happens in this story, this seems like it really, really could happen. Has anyone ever used an electric blanket before? Okay, so, what happens is he goes to sleep with an electric blanket, and in the morning he wakes up, and you know how we see things because light is reflecting off of you and off of me so I can see you? Well, what happens is the light gets absorbed by him so no one can see him. And his parents don't want to cause this big fuss, so they need time to think about what to do. They don't want to call the authorities or anything, so they say, stay home, stay in the house, lock the doors. We're going to go try to figure this out, get you some help, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Well, guess what? He gets bored. He goes out. And because he's invisible, nobody can see him, and things start happening. And he ends up meeting somebody that is blind, and she can tell that there's somebody there because she can sense his presence. She doesn't have to see him. And she says,
it's the vibrations of the garage.
yeah, it must be. So it's really, really interesting, and there's another book that comes after it, so if you want to do that. Okay, realistic fiction, and then I'm just going to do very quick some of my favorites and hold them up super fast. Goodbye, Stranger. This one is a middle school book. Okay? So if mom and dad like to say, you're not quite ready for that, I'm just giving you a heads up on this one, okay? It's got some topics and some situations in it, some texting problems, things like that might not be perfect for everyone, but it is amazing realistic fiction about things that can happen in junior high, late elementary school, like 5th, 6th grade, things that we all need to be aware of in our friendships, especially if you're using your phone a lot. Ghost. Amazing story. This book is wonderful. Author's last name is Reynolds, so you find it under R-E-Y. This is a story about a boy that is super, super fast, but he doesn't want to do track. He's got a lot of anger problems, and he gets really upset with things really easily. Everybody wants him to go out for track, but he doesn't. He decides he wants to play ball. Except for one time, an elite sprinter, like the very best sprinter in their whole community, challenges him to a race, and he wins the race. So now he's got a chance to really get some medals, the coaches in the area are all after him. The thing is, he has to come to terms with things that are going on in his own life for him to become part of a team. And it's hard for him to let go of his anger, and it's like he almost has to outrun himself, and he can't do that. It's a really cool, realistic fiction book. This one, Crossing the Wire, is about a guy, he's a boy, his dad has died, and he is actually like 12 years old. He's farming in Mexico. He's trying to get money for his family, his mother and his two sisters. There is no corn that's growing that year. He's making a split decision. He's going to try to get into the United States so that he can earn some money. And it's sort of like a topic that's really hot today. And it's about just where do we go, how do we support each other as a global community, things like that. But it's about what happens when you try to make that adventure. So this is a realistic adventure book. This book was so sad, but it's really funny too. Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite books this year. It's called Miss Bixby's Last Day. She's got cancer. She's their very favorite 6th grade teacher in the whole world. She says she's going to say goodbye. She's got to go get treatment, so she's got to get out the rest of the year. She's got a substitute coming, but before the sub and she can say goodbye and everything, she tells everybody she ends up not coming to school because she's so sick. So there's 3 guys that, and they're boys, and they're not, like going to bring her flowers and everything, but they really, really like her, and they have to say goodbye to her. So they know she's in the hospital, so they skip school without anybody's permission. They get on the bus, they make their way, be like taking a bus from here downtown Grand Rapids all by yourself. You're trying to find your teacher in Spectrum Hospital so that you can give her what you think would be the best presents of her life. And it's really, really funny what happens to these boys, but it's also, it's sad because, their favorite teacher is very sick. And then I just had to put this on here because look, I got goosebumps right now talking about this book. It is an old story. It's by Sharon Creech. It's won the Newbery Award. You can tell instantly it's fabulous. But this book is probably as old as you guys are. This book is called Walk Two Moons. It's about a girl whose mother just very suddenly leaves. It's just her and her mom. All of a sudden she ends up with her grandma and grandpa. She doesn't know what's going on with her mom. She takes this huge bus trip out west. She meets somebody that also is going through something like her. And it's not until the very end of the book you find out what happened. I'm going to tell you, have a Kleenex box nearby. It's very sad, okay? Very, very, very sad at the end. I can't tell. Okay, now I'm going to just go ping, ping, ping and show these favorite books of mine. This one was fabulous. It's from the book fair. It's called Surrounded by Sharks. This is in our library. You guys could grab that one. Anything by Gordon Corman. There's all kinds of adventure series. This Swindle series, this whole series of books is amazing. You guys grab it, read it. It's a great book, and any of the other ones in his series. My absolute favorite book in the whole library, and I know I've told you guys about this, The Miraculous Journey of Edward Trulane. Everyone should read this.
I tried to read it, but it wasn't my interest. I read it in like one night. I tried to read it, but it wasn't my interest.
Oh, it wasn't your interest. Savvy. I think I've talked about this before.
Mr. Skolma has
it. Fabulous. And here we go. Wild Robot. Fabulous series. This one is by Ann Martin. It's called the Family Tree series. And this is the first one. It actually follows a family from like the 1800s, and it just every daughter throughout all the way up to modern times. So it's a really cool story. If you guys like historical fiction, there's a whole bunch of these by Lynch. This one is called The Right Fight, and it's a World War II series, okay? And I think that's it. Yay! You guys go out and read, okay?
What you want to tell them?
If you guys want to check out any of these books, why don't we have numbers